How's it going, guys? It's Dennis and we're back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about YieldMax ETFs and the payouts for October. As well, we're going to be looking over the payouts that I will be receiving on October 16th for the YieldMax the ETFs that I am holding. We're going to be looking at the YieldMax ETFs payouts for all the ETFs that they have. We're going to be seeing which ones were the best picks for the month of October, what are their payouts, what are the strategies going for next month. And we're going to be once again looking over my payouts, which will be coming on October 16th, and going over how I will be switching my strategy and which ETFs I'll be picking to put more money into when it comes to my portfolio. Alrighty, so getting straight into it here, we have the ETFs for YieldMax ETFs and the whole list of their distributions and their distribution percentages and the dates that they'll be distributed. Of course, all of them are going to be distributed on October 16th. They've been ex-dividend date has passed, which is October 6th, so we're not going to be going through that. We're going to be mostly focusing on the main ETFs that I myself invest in and ones that I might be investing in. If you guys want to take a look at the other ETFs, you're more than welcome to, but I won't be going through all of them since that's going to take a lot of time. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so first up, of course, we have the fan favorite TSLY, with a distribution rate per share for this month being roughly 58 cents per share, a little bit lower than last month. Of course, last month we had roughly 59 cents per share, so not a dramatic decrease. I wouldn't mind it staying at this point, honestly. It's not a bad payout. It's roughly 50% paying out, which for a dividend is pretty high compared to other dividend stocks that are on the market. So I wouldn't complain. Of course, it is pretty low from the last payments or the previous payments on previous months, with previous payments being roughly 83 cents or even $1 back in July, staying at that 80% mark. Of course, there was that one payment in May for 44 cents. So it would be nice for them to go back up towards the 80 cent, maybe 70 cent mark. So still a little disappointing to be at the 50% mark, but once again, not a big issue. I don't mind getting a 50% payout, even if it stays consistently at 50% payout. So, good on TSLY, good on that part of their ETF, and I'm going to keep investing in that. Alrighty, next up on the list is OARK. I myself am not invested in this because it's just not an ETF that I'm interested in when it comes to the YieldMax ETFs. But for this ETF, I have heard bad signs for it, and it is showing bad signs. The distribution rate is quite low. It's 33 cents per share roughly, and it has been dropping. It has been dropping a decent amount, and that's why people are upset and are leaving this ETF at the moment. Of course, it is still paying a good amount. You can't be wrong. It is still paying higher than any other dividend stocks. Of course, that's with all YieldMax stocks, but still, when it comes to YieldMax stocks, it is being quite disappointing for people to see their distributions going lower and lower. If you look at the past distributions for OARK, they've been distributing at high rates. They've been distributing when they started at 75 cents per share to $1 per share, and staying at that 70 cents roughly for maybe 3-4 months. Then they started dropping. They dropped to 50, they dropped to 30, and they kept dropping. They went back up to 60 back in August, and now they're back down at 30 roughly cents per share. Quite disappointing. A lot of people are disappointed in this, but gladly I'm not invested in it. But if you are invested in it, I would see why you would be exiting this position and why you would be looking to invest in other YieldMax ETFs. But that is OARK. Let's go ahead and move on. Next up on the list is APLY. APLY is a YieldMax ETF that I'm invested in and I will continue investing in. And that is because the distribution rate for this month was 48 cents per share roughly. Yes, you heard that right, 48 cents per share roughly. Higher than last month's, which was 22 cents per share roughly. Not as high as the other previous months, but still, it is performing well. And I will continue investing in APLY because it is trading based off Apple, which is a strong company. It has been around for a while, and it will continue to be around for a while because Apple has a lot of hype behind it. A lot of people have iPhones, Macs, all that sorts of technology that they make, and they are slowly branching into other areas of the market. Also, their volatility is still high or decent when it comes to the stock itself, so the dividend payouts will remain medium to high and will continue to either grow or stay at the steady pace that they are right now, meaning I will also always have stable dividend income coming out from APLY. That's why I will continue investing in the stock. That's why I don't care if it does not do so well in some months and other months like it did back in July, where it had 63 cents per share payout compared to, let's say, September, where it had 22 cents. I don't mind it. I don't mind it because I know it will continue to make me dividend income that I could trust, I could rely on, because it's trading based off Apple, and Apple is a trustworthy company. That's why I will continue investing in APLY, and let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Next up is NVIDIA. We're going to quickly go over NVIDIA. I personally am not invested in this stock. It's a little bit too volatile for me, and I kind of don't trust NVIDIA when it comes to the stock itself. But NVIDIA for this month paid out 68 cents per share, roughly. Kind of a disappointment. That's why we're going over it real quick. Compared to the other months, which paid out 74 cents, 95 cents, 81 cents, and 92 cents, 67 cents is a little bit of a disappointment. That's lower than it was when it started off, which is kind of scary when it comes to people invested in this. And I don't know. I've heard people are trying to leave this position. They're going to be moving to other stocks. I think that kind of makes sense. I don't think NVIDIA is going to hold up with this volatility and where it is right now. Therefore, I don't think this ETF is going to hold up when it comes to its dividend payouts. So yeah, that's my opinion on NVIDIA. Let's move on. Next up on the list is AMZY, a stock that I'm investing in and will be invested in once again, just like APLY, because it is trading based off Amazon, which is a stock that is reliable. Now, when it comes to AMZY, the distribution rate for this month was 63 cents per share, higher than last month, which was 47 cents per share, and hopefully it keeps going higher, or it stays at 63 cents. You know, I don't mind that either. Once again, this is a reliable stock that is trading based off, which is Amazon, which is why I'll continue investing in, because Amazon's not going anywhere. Amazon's volatility is not going anywhere. Amazon's growth is not going anywhere. This is a stock that's here to stay, meaning the ETF's here to stay and the dividend payouts here to stay. Okay? The dividend payouts, of course, has only been 2 months since it's been paying out. It's kind of a new ETF when it comes to YieldMax. So we don't know what the rates are going to be later on. We don't know if this is going to pull an OARK or an NVIDIA or a TSLY and start dropping its distributions. But at the moment, it's a pretty good stock, and it went up. It didn't go down. It went up after its opening of the ETF. So 63 cents is pretty good, and I'm going to keep investing in it because it's Amazon. It's based off Amazon. So I'm going to keep investing, and let's move on to the next one. Now, next up on the list is the big boy itself, the big payout of this month. Are you ready? Are you ready? Well, you already see it on the screen, but it's CONY, baby. It's CONY. And CONY paid out this month $1.21 or 20 cents roughly. That payout is crazy. What an insane payout from CONY. And what an accomplishment from YieldMax ETF, you know? Like, honestly, $1.20, which kind of makes sense. Kind of makes sense. The ETF did release after the dividend X date of September, meaning they were already stacking all the money from September and October together. So the payout, of course, was big. And I don't expect it to be this big next month. Of course, I don't expect it to be this big. But Coinbase is quite, like, it's pretty volatile. Coinbase is known to trade based off Bitcoin because it is a Bitcoin / Ethereum and all those crypto based company, right? So it trades off the prices of Bitcoin and all this crypto. So it's pretty volatile, as is the stock Riot that I trade options on. So it's a volatile stock. It moves around a lot, of course, because of volatility. It does have a growth aspect if crypto goes up. So I understand why this is a great ETF to invest in. Of course, I'm not going to go full into it. I'm not going to invest fully into this ETF because I kind of don't trust the crypto to that extent. So I don't mind holding a small position, especially if it pays a high dividend like this, $1.20. That's crazy, you know. That's a crazy amount. That's almost, what is that, 75% distribution rate? So that's a crazy distribution. Congrats to YieldMax ETF on this. Hopefully they could keep it up with Coinbase. Hopefully it doesn't drop. It keeps it steady. Maybe not $1.20 per share every month. Maybe 90, 80. That'll be sufficient enough. And honestly, I'm gonna keep investing in it in small portions. Not gonna go all in on this. I don't trust it that much, as you guys noticed. I'm investing mostly in AMZY, TSLY, and APLY because those are stocks that actually have potential in the future. So good on them. Once again, great distribution. $1.20, and let's keep going. for the last YieldMax stock that I'll be discussing for today, and that is MSFO, which trades based off Microsoft, of course. And once again, is another ETF that I am willing to invest in. I will continue to invest in when it comes to YieldMax ETFs because it invests based off such a good stock as Microsoft. Of course, their volatility is not so high, so the distribution rate is kind of lackluster. It is 27 to 28 cents per share roughly. Like I said, kind of lackluster, nothing crazy, nothing to get excited about. 16.47% distribution rate. But I do think this is a pretty good ETF to hold from YieldMax because I do think that this will be a reliable distribution. It will continue to distribute the same amount every month, not even, possibly even grow. I think there's a growth potential for it. Of course, like I said, the IV for Microsoft is not that high. The volatility is not that high. But there is a chance for it to maybe get to 20% distribution rate, maybe even 25%, which is not bad. It's really not bad. And it's actually the only ETF from YieldMax that I'm holding at the moment in my account that actually grew instead of, dropped in value. I'm actually up right now on MSFO by 3%, with the dividend as well coming in soon on October 16th. So I don't see why this is a bad investment on the ETF side for YieldMax. Pretty good. It trades on Microsoft. Microsoft's a good stock. Of course, the volatility is not that high because it's not really a big trade or a well traded company when it comes to like everyday trades. But like once I said, YieldMax ETF wise, it's pretty good. It's gonna be paying out, I feel like, a steady dividend income every month, and it's just a stock or ETF that I'm willing to invest in, and I'll continue to invest in. Of course, not as much as other ones because those pay higher, but some of my income will be going into MSFO. And with that, let's go ahead and get into my payouts for the month of October when it comes to YieldMax ETFs. So when it comes to the dividends paid out to me for the month of October, we're going from the highest to the lowest, starting off with TSLY, which is my highest holding position, which paid me for this month $214.80 for the 372 shares that I'm holding. Now we have AMZY, which is for this month paying me for $82.82 per share for the 130 shares that I'm holding. And moving on to the next one, we have CONY. CONY, which is the first time I'm buying this and the first dividend payout it has. It's paying out me $54.40 for the 45 shares I bought before the ex-dividend date. Then we have APLY, which is paying out $30.39 per share at 63 shares that I'm holding. And for the last one, last or not least, we have MSFO, which is paying me $13.99 for the 50 shares I'm holding. So when it comes to all these stocks, at the end, I am making a grand total of, can I get a round of applause, a drum roll or something? We are getting a grand total of $396.40 for the month of October paid out just from YieldMax ETFs. What a great amount to get paid out. Man, I love YieldMax ETFs. This is why I'm going to keep investing it in the YieldMax ETF. This is why I'm going to continue to have drip back to the YieldMax ETFs, and I'll continue to keep going and going and going until I can retire on these dividends and I can move them on to dividends that are safer, that pay me less, but at least I know I can live out the rest of my life enjoying my dividend income. So yes, that was the YieldMax ETFs for October. That was their payouts. That was the payouts that I received with my grand total of $396.40. What a great month. It could be better, but we'll see what happens in the next month of November. We'll see you guys then, and I'll see you guys also in the next video. Hope you guys like. Go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys, like I said before, in the next video.